What is in the NCAA's notice of allegations to Michigan? Let's talk about it. All right, the big question everybody is asking is what is in this notice of allegations? There was reporting that it is out there and Michigan does have it. However, we have not exactly heard what is in it yet. So, after doing a little bit of digging and trying to figure things out, I think I have figured out a pretty good detailed explanation of what is in the notice of allegations. I want to share it with you today, and you let me know what you think. First off, let's go to the source of the original tweet here, which was from Nicole Auerbach, and she said, news, the NCAA has delivered its official notice of allegations to Michigan in the Connor Stalions in-person scouting case. Sources tell NBC Sports. Later on, she did confirm this happened. So this is not just sources. She did confirm later on. The second tweet is a little bit more interesting. It says, most of what has previously been reported from ESPN, this is what Pete Thamel and Dan Murphy, I think it was, reported together on with the draft of the notice of allegations. Most of what has previously been reported from ESPN regarding the draft NOA remains. Per source, Jesse Minter and Denard Robinson are working with the NCAA on a negotiated resolution, so it's a split case. The rest will go to the Committee of Infractions route. All right, so let's go to the first part there. Most of what was previously in it remains. So this means if she's saying most, it doesn't sound like everything that was in the draft before remains, but it does sound like there is a good amount of it with it. So let's ask the question first. What was in the draft of the notice of allegations from Dan Murphy and Pete Thamel? Number one, the Sherrone Moore allegations. Moore, Michigan's new head coach, is accused of deleting 52 text messages with former staffer Connor Stalions on the day the reports surfaced about Stalions' sign signaling activities. Sherrone Moore has come out and said that he looks forward to those becoming public. What does that mean? I don't know. I still think you delete text messages, still not a good look. Still looks like you're trying to hide information, but they did say later on they found it through recovery methods. So whether Sherrone Moore gave it to him or however that works, I don't think this is like CSI where, they're going in deep into stuff or they're the FBI themselves, right? But there is definitely something they did. I presume Sherrone Moore did reveal the text to them, since he's saying, I look forward to them being released. The messages were later recovered and Moore provided them to the NCAA enforcement. Moore is charged with a level 2 violation and considered a repeat violator due to prior recruiting violation during the COVID-19 dead period. And it was confirmed by Nicole Auerbach in the next tweet. Let me bring that up. In the next tweet, one other difference, Michigan's earlier case involving COVID-era recruiting violations has now been resolved by the NCAA, so no more of that. So Harbaugh / Sherrone Moore can be considered repeat violators. Remember, Sherrone Moore was given a 1-game suspension, self suspended or whatever they call that, and then Jim Harbaugh was given a 4-year show cause and a 1-year suspension if he does come back, in addition to the 3 games that he got before. The other 3 games at the end of the season, that was by the Big Ten, the sportsmanship conduct penalty there. All right, let's move on to the next part, the Jim Harbaugh allegations. Former Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh is accused of not cooperating with the NCAA by refusing to provide relevant messages and phone records. So this is much worse than what Sherrone Moore did. Although there's no evidence Harbaugh was directly involved in the scouting operation, he is criticized for not recognizing or investigating red flags. Guys, we just have to take a minute and understand how incredibly stupid it is to say that Jim Harbaugh had no idea what was going on here. Sure, there is nothing, connecting him to it. All right, and we need to make sure that's clear. But to just act like there is no way he had any idea, I understand saying it's possible he didn't have any idea. I can get with that. But to say, oh, Jim Harbaugh didn't know. Jim Harbaugh comes from a line of coaches. He knows how this stuff works. And if anything, the people that have been out there talking about sign stealing and how prevalent it is and how much it goes on, these people know how this stuff works. I mean, Jim Harbaugh has been in college football long enough. He understands that you don't get signs from another team the very first series of the game, and we've had it in two instances now where we have you know footage or pictures of Connor Stalions next to the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator in the first quarter, delivering them messages about what the other team is calling. In addition to that, we know that Connor Stalions was in the CMU garments and with the glasses on, studying Michigan State during that game. So obviously, he was going over and above trying to get signal information, whether it be from in-person scouting, buying tickets for somebody else. And I know what everybody's going to say, or all the Michigan fans are going to say, JR, it's not against the rules. Yes, it is. Okay. They wouldn't send out a notice of allegations about this if it wasn't against the rules. The NCAA wrote the rules. There's nothing Connor Stalions' lawyer is going to be able to do here to say, oh, well, he actually found a loophole in the rules. It's not going to fly. It's not going to happen. If anything, the lawyer is just trying to pander right now. He was literally begging for everybody to leave Connor Stalions alone, when in reality, Connor Stalions, if I'm recording this late Monday night, Connor Stalions is going to be in a documentary about all of this just tomorrow. So by the time you watch this, the documentary will probably be out, and you can go see it on Netflix if you pay for Netflix. But Harbaugh could face a show cause penalty if he returns to college sports. That was before the punishment came down for the recruiting violations. So, if anything, that show cause will just be added onto. And Jim Harbaugh can also be considered a repeat violator. Connor Stalions scouting operation. Stalions is accused of running a scheme to scout future opponents by purchasing game tickets and directing individuals to record play calling signals. Whether that's super grainy footage, whatever you want to call it, cheating is cheating. Okay. If you tried to cheat and you did a bad job at it, that's on you. All right. I don't care if you did a bad job. It's like, oh, well, we weren't very good at the cheating. So, don't punish us as bad. It's like, no, you cheated and you were bad at it. So that's your own fault. He allegedly scouted at least 13 opponents on 58 occasions from 2021 to 2023. That's only like half of 2023 as well. Stalions also reportedly disguised himself as Central Michigan coaching staff during a Michigan State game. So this is very interesting to look at how much Connor Stalions and how much his whole crew, his whole posse were able to get information early on in the season. Obviously, Connor Stalions was concerned about playing Michigan State in the middle of the season. He felt so much so that they needed to get information that he went onto the sidelines with Central Michigan, which is a huge infraction all in itself. So let's just put that out there and say that's going to be in there, and that's going to be a huge thing all in itself. Institutional allegations. Michigan faces a level 1 violation due to a pattern of non-compliance within the football program and efforts to obstruct the NCAA's investigation. Guys, Michigan faces a level 1 violation due to a pattern of non-compliance. This is not confirmed, but this sounds like a whole lot like lack of institutional control. I think anybody on any side can look at this and say, that sounds like a whole lot of lack of institutional control. That, to me, is the biggest question of, is that in the notice of allegations? Now, Pete Thamel and Dan Murphy did not specifically say lack of institutional control in their ESPN report of the NOA draft, but you can put two and two together and say this is a very likely possibility. And guys, if they do get lack of institutional control, that is where you are really going to see a lot of punishments, not just on coaches, not just Jim Harbaugh show causes or, suspension for Sherrone Moore for a few games. You're going to see actual punishments for the school, the program, those kind of things, and probably just more than fines. I mean, a fine is not going to be something they do just for lack of institutional control. Other staff members, former staffers Chris Partridge, Denard Robinson, Jesse Minter, and Steve Clinkscale face various violations. Partridge is accused of pressuring a player to lie to the NCAA investigators and committed several recruiting violations. He is suing Michigan because of that whole thing, so we are not exactly sure where that is at right now. Clinkscale, Mentor, and Robinson are accused of providing impermissible benefits to recruits. In fact, Jesse Mentor, as Nicole Auerbach reported, Jesse Mentor and Denard Robinson are working with the NCAA on a negotiated resolution right now. That is being tried separately because it is recruiting violations and not the sign stealing scandal itself. To me, I don't think this will be in there. I think that's what's missing from it. The Jim Harbaugh, the Connor Stalions, the institutional, level 1 violation, the deleted text. To me, that's all going to be in there. It's this stuff that's not going to be in there because it's recruiting violations. It's not the sign stealing notice of allegations. I think they're going to get a whole nother notice allegations for Jesse Mentor and Denard Robinson and Steve Clinkscale. Or they're just negotiating this away right now so that way they don't get one. But to me, that's the stuff that's not in there. Nicole Auerbach did not say most, or did not say some of, did not say just a little bit more than maybe what was not in there or whatever. She said most of. And to me, all this other stuff is the big stuff. If they leave out the institutional allegations like the pattern of noncompliance against Michigan, that's a huge thing to leave out. The deleted text messages from Sherrone Moore, that's a huge thing to leave out. This is the smaller stuff that I could see not being in there, especially in the situation because of Jesse Mentor and Denard Robinson negotiating with the NCAA. The NCAA draft notice paints a picture of widespread noncompliance and misconduct within Michigan's football program involving several current and former staff members. If this was just Jim Harbaugh, if this was just Connor Stalions, sure. But we have quotes, and maybe it's in the notice allegations, maybe it's not. We have quotes from former staff members, one of them in particular being a director of recruiting, saying Jim Harbaugh told him to go up to the line and then cross it. This was a lack of institutional control. And in reality, it's better for Michigan if Jim Harbaugh did know about it because they're just going to punish Jim Harbaugh. You don't want Jim Harbaugh to not know about it because you are going to get this lack of institutional control. And who knows, maybe you'll get lucky and Warren Manuel will be fired, and that's what Michigan fans want. They really hate Warren Manuel. But at the end of the day, this is the kind of stuff that gets you lack of institutional control. A head coach who claims he didn't know anything about it. He had no idea what was going on. He was not in control of anything that was going on in his own program. And Michigan fans are just digging themselves an even deeper grave by saying, oh, Jim Harbaugh didn't know. No, that's not going to cut it. You're actually making it worse for yourself. All right, you let me know what you think. Those are my thoughts on it. Like I said, if you think something else is missing from the notice of allegations, let me know. Even if you're a Michigan fan, if you have something you feel different about, just respond in a respectful way, and I will respond back. If you respond in a disrespectful, derogatory manner, I'm probably not going to respond back. That's just me. But anybody else, just respond. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Please do like and subscribe as well. Check me out over on the Big Ten Huddle. Cover everything Big Ten football and basketball over there. Check me out, JR's Rankings on Twitter. You can follow me. Try to tweet some fun stuff here and there. A little bit of stats and analysis, but mostly fun stuff. So hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And enjoy the Connor Stalions documentary. I didn't talk about that, but I know somebody that saw it beforehand, and they told me it's not just a fluff piece for Michigan. So we'll see. If you're watching this beforehand, let me know what you think. If you think it's the same way, if you're watching this after, maybe you're like, nope, JR, that person lied to you. It was a fluff piece for Michigan. Honestly, that's kind of what I'm expecting, but I was told somebody saw it, and they told me that it wasn't as bad as maybe some Ohio State fans would think. So looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good one.